harsh would you give to people who bullshit like that?
Well, this is going to go right over a lot of people's heads. They're going to hear it, they're going to nod, and they're going to say yes, but they're not going to get it because you don't get it until you do it. That's one of the things that I truly value is that you don't know anything until you've experienced it. And there are people that will argue with me, but it's just a position that I've used and it's been resourceful for me. So the statement is, it's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson where he says, "Do the thing and you will have the power." See, what's happened is we've become such a heady culture that we think about the thing. We think about what we're going to do. We talk about what we're going to do. We ask our friends or ask you, Ian, through your blog, what do I do? This is what I want to do. But they don't do anything because they think that talking about it and preparing, this is really the lie, this is the myth, preparing to do something is going to get them to be able to do it. Now, what Emerson's saying is, no. You're not going to prepare at all. You're going to do it, and then the power will be added to you. So you mentioned that I have a business. I don't know shit about owning a business. My dad never owned a business. I don't come from a lineage of entrepreneurs, and I never took any classes in business. I don't know shit about business. You know how I learned about business? I started a business. A lot of guys, they want to learn about starting a business, and they end up spending the next 5 years learning about starting a business. It's like, you son of a bitch, you need to grow the balls and have the courage to go and do the thing, and then the power will be added to you.
Yeah, it's like that. There's a Internet Emmy going about just now where they show a picture of Michael Jackson. He took 300 game-winning shots, but he also missed 1,000 game-winning shots.
Right.
It's Walt Disney saying he tried to get his cartoon series going for the first, I think it was 5 or 6 times, failed every time. But if he didn't stop, and just said, that's it, he would have never got multi-million-dollar business.
No.
And this is the problem.
It's the fear of failure. You just said it. You're spot on. It's this fear of failure, like we're not supposed to fail, that keeps people away from doing things.
But the biggest thing I find is that people just spend all their time thinking. If you think, you're acting. They think they're making a bit of effort, they're doing something. It's always that first step's the hardest for me, but I find that with other people is they'd rather just stand there, talk about it. At least they think, they get this little boost of, oh well, I'm being motivational, I'm doing something. But like you say, if you don't take that first step, you're pretty much screwed from the get-go. So something I've often wondered, how do you remain so focused and positive? Is that, do you meditate? Do you read a lot? Is there, I've never seen you in a down mood. I've seen you aggressive about something and passionate, but I've never seen you properly pissed off. Is there something you do daily? Do you have a certain routine, a ritual?
It's not so much a thing that I do. It's more of a place that I'm coming from. It's a paradigm that I proceed from. And that basically is that this is all a game. I really don't take any of this very seriously at all. The good stuff and the bad stuff. I see it all as I'm detached. You see? So I never get too excited when things are going well. I'm like, hey, this is cool. This is great. Things are going awesome. But I don't get very attached to it because this is all the game, and the winds of chance are always at play. And when things go bad, I never get too down because it's like, this is all a game, and the winds of chance are always at hand or at play. So for me, it's more of a choice not to get too high or to go too low and to tread sort of a middle path.
So what advice would you give to somebody who holds on to, bullshit ex-relationships, who, I'm a fighter, I'm an alcoholic, the guys who can't just let go and be in that moment. They've got to have their mind set on thousands of other little things, what's happening in their life or what's happened.
Well, this goes back to the original statement by Emerson. Do the thing and you will have the power. Now, the second part of that statement, the power often ends up becoming a pattern. It becomes a habit. So, for example, success in business, you do the thing, you have the power, which actually is a habit. In other words, it's ingrained in my nervous system to be successful at this thing because I now have the power. It works both ways. So when you do weak things, when you behave in a weak manner, when you harbor weak thoughts, you now own the power of weakness. So, you get where I'm going with this?
I've done that quite a few times.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of these guys' problem is. It's not so much what they need to go do, it's what they need to undo. And it's a paradigm, it's a pattern within the nervous system that is programmed for weakness, for being a loser. The best way to break patterns, any pattern, and I'm using these terms, and the nervous system is just what really, to me, is just so fascinating, because it's our thoughts and it's our body. And the best way to break patterns of mind and body is to do something completely out of the ordinary. Do something completely different and uncomfortable.
So would that be the sort of thing where you do one thing that scares the shit out of you every single day?
That's it. One of the things, and you mentioned my depression video and some of the crazy shit that I do. What you see there when I do these things is called a pattern interrupt, right? So basically, I've used this term, neurotic holding patterns, which basically means that our mind has created one of these avenues for losing, one of these weak avenues. It ingrains itself in our nervous system, right? So we become a fucking loser. You are what you do, you know. Emerson has another quote where he says, what you do speaks so loud I don't hear a word you're saying. You're doing it. You've taken on the character of a loser. When you act out, and you're doing this all in a very conscious and ego-grounded way, you're doing things that are out of the ordinary, that are somewhat uncomfortable, where there's cognitive dissonance. It's as simple as just closing your door and just throwing a temper tantrum, or hitting your bed with a pillow, or screaming, or just going nuts, just doing whatever comes up in your body, shaking and vibrating. It could be as simple as that. And that is very, 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 very therapeutic. It's called bioenergetics. It's very therapeutic, life-enhancing and changing, and I've experienced it myself and I've seen it in other people. It could be that, which is very safe and closed. It's very contained. Or go quit your fucking job. Dump your girlfriend. Go and pay off all your debt. Go and do something in life, which is a little bit, it's not as contained as what you're going to do in your bedroom with the door closed. But I tell you what, you go quit that girlfriend, you go quit that job, you go and get out of that bad situation, just by walking out one day and stepping in the situation and saying, I'm done. Guess what? You just broke the pattern, and now the opportunities abound. You have the opportunity now to go and do whatever you want. Scary, but effective.
Yeah, I'm thinking a few occasions in my own life that I should have done that, or things I'm going to do. Terrifying, but yeah, it's...
It is terrifying. I tell young people this all the time, and this is why they're attracted to me, and this is why their parents probably think I'm a bad role model. If you're trying to figure out what you want to do, not sure what you want to do, and you've got, let's say, 3 options, and you look at each one of them, but there's one, you explore all of them, but there's one that when you look at it, you get a gut-wrenching feeling like, it just makes you really uncomfortable. Like you explore it and you're like, no way, I can't do it. It's just too out there. It's too uncomfortable. That's the one you should do. There it is. The minute I ask them these questions and they start exploring and I see their face like they do this when they reach this one, I don't even know what it is. That's it. There it is. That's the one, man. You've got to go and do that thing that is the scariest thing to you. Not because of what you're going to achieve by doing the thing, but because of who you're going to become by doing that thing.
I was afraid you were going to say that. There's a few things in my life that I'm going to have to go and do. It's like get a better job. Not the sort of little side thing that I will feel like I'm doing a wee bit of action, but stuff to actually go do.
Right.
I've noticed you've mentioned Emerson quite a lot. I've noticed on the videos. Part of my site's about role models, people who inspire you. Looking at the entertainment world, books, films, is there a list of people that spring to your mind that you just think, yeah, that's the guy that inspired me as a kid.